Hello everyone, welcome to Veranda IAS. Students, in today's session we are going to discuss about the Mauryan Empire. How exactly Mauryan Empire came into existence, what were the various factors, whom actually did the Mauryan Empire overthrow, what were the various policies, how the governance was being made, what was the polity, what were the ideas of trade, what were the basic occupation that was followed by the people during the Mauryan Empire. All of this will be studied in today's session. So students, like I said, we'll be discussing with the idea, with the foundation of the Mauryan Empire. Now, the Mauryan Empire, if we speak, Mauryan Empire actually was established by Chandragupta Maurya. Now, Chandragupta Maurya established the Mauryan dynasty. He defeated Dhananand, the last ruler of the Nanda dynasty. One important thing that is to be noted here is that Chandragupta individually didn't conquer the Nanda dynasty. Chandragupta got all the information, all the knowledge, all the guidance from his guru. You can say he was political guru, okay, whose name was Chanakya or Vishnugupta, or you can say Kautilya. Now, with all the help that he received from Chanakya, it actually enabled Chandragupta Maurya to be so confident enough to defeat the Nanda rulers. Now, various texts have actually got the description about both the Nandas and the Chandragupta Mauryas. Okay, so texts like Puranas, Milindas, Panho, Mudra Rakshasa, they all talk about Dhananand and the Nand dynasty. Now, like I said, actually Dhananand did insult to Chanakya, and as a revenge, Chanakya decided that he will overthrow the entire Nanda dynasty. So as a result of that, Chanakya prepared Chandragupta Maurya, and finally, when the time came, Chandragupta Maurya defeated the Nanda dynasty. Now, by this, two things happened. Number one, the Nanda dynasty rulers, I'm talking about Dhananand, they were absolutely ignorant about the situation that was happening. They were completely ignorant about the invasion of Alexander. All they were involved in were day, night, music, dancing, drinking, that's it. So, Chanakya actually tried to convince, he tried to show that the real threat is about to come. But Dhananand, he wasn't agreeing, he wasn't ready to listen. And as a result, he insulted, he disgusted Chanakya. So, he did two things. Number one, Chanakya brought a new dynasty into existence under the Maurya dynasty. And number two, he actually safeguarded the borders. Otherwise, what would have happened? Otherwise, Alexander along with his army might have entered in the central region, or you can say in the northern region. Fine? So, now, if we speak about the extent of the Mauryan Empire, what was the territorial limit of the Mauryan Empire? So, territorial limit of the Mauryan Empire, it was, you can say, west of Indus River. In fact, the area after the Indus River, that means you can say up till Central Asia. If we speak with reference to the Eastern Territory, the area almost till Brahmaputra river, okay? I'm not talking about the present day northeast, but yes, part of it was definitely under the control of the Mauryan Empire. The Himalayan region, okay? The Himalayan region that we can see here, that is the territory of Nepal and all. It was all under the Mauryan Empire. And here you can see almost entire South India, barring some territory that was actually covered by this situation, like you can see here, the part of Tamil Nadu and part of Kerala. Now, what was the nature of the Mauryan polity? Now, like I said, there were 16 Mahajanpadas, and out of those 16 Mahajanpadas, only 2 followed the republic idea, whereas rest of them, they were absolute monarchy. Similarly, the Mauryan Empire was also considered as an absolute monarchy. However, the monarch, that is the king, which was very powerful, he was assisted by group of intellectuals which was called as the Mantri Parishad, what you can refer as the Council of Ministers. Now, the central role, like what exactly are the duties, what exactly should be the role of a king, it can be taken at that point of time, what should have been the role of the king. So all those ideas, all those evidences can be accessed from the famous book known as Arthashastra, written by Kautilya. Okay. Also, if you go around and if you see through the Ashokan inscriptions, the pillar at Allahabad, etc., so you will find that what should be the central, what should be the most important role of the king, how actually one has to administer, how actually one has to cater the needs of its subjects, that is the public. Now, one very important feature of the Mauryan polity was that they always maintained a very huge army. Why? 2 reasons. Number 1, in order to get new territories, to get control on new territories. Number 2, to ensure stability. To ensure stability in their own empire. Now, some important rulers of the Mauryan Empire. In fact, these were the 3 important rulers. After that, the situation of the Mauryan dynasty, it started decreasing, okay, declining. So the important rulers of the Mauryan Empire were Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusar and Ashoka. After that, the sons and daughters of Ashoka, they were involved in the propagation of Buddhism, and later on the kings were so weak that ultimately they were defeated by the Shunga dynasty rulers. Okay. Now, what was the idea of the Mauryan bureaucracy? How was the administration? How exactly the administration was performed during the Mauryan dynasty? See, the Mauryan dynasty, it was divided into a number of provinces. See, I'll show you here. Like you can see here. Okay. So what we can see is that the entire Mauryan dynasty has been divided into some important provinces, like we have Mathura here, okay, we have Kaushambi, we have Sanchi, we have Ujjain, Girnar, Pratisthana, Sanati, Amravati, Suvarnagiri, Toshali, Tamralipiti. So these were the important provinces. So what exactly happened? According to the Mauryan administration, they divided the entire reign under different provinces. Now, each province was actually controlled. The administration of each province was controlled by a member of the royal family. Okay, someone from the, like for example, sons and daughters of, primarily I'm talking about the sons or some other people who were associated with the royal dynasty. So they were actually given the control of that particular province. So whether it is collection of taxes or any other issue, everything was to be done by these people. So the extensive bureaucracy, this idea of bureaucracy actually made situations quite clear for the king, because whatever or wherever is the area where people are having issues, people are having any problems, so those things could come directly under the observation of the king. Why? Because of this extensive bureaucracy. Okay. Now again, if I'm talking about the control of a province, so yes, definitely there were many people who were included into the services, and they were given different domains, different jobs, different portfolios. Like there was portfolio for revenue, portfolio for security. Like in today's scenario, we can see finance minister managing the finances, defense minister managing the defense system. Similarly, even at that point of time, such was the situation, such was the scenario. Now, let's talk about the most important aspect, the Mauryan economy. Now, we all know that the capital was, the state was Magad and the capital was Patliputra. And we have already seen how important Patliputra was. So the Mauryan economy, if we speak about the Mauryan economy, agriculture was the primary activity which was performed. Okay. Now, how agriculture was performed? There were many landholders, and the entire plowing and cultivation was actually done by the slaves. The slaves were primarily involved in the agricultural operations. Okay. Also, because of the agriculture being the primary activity, it was the responsibility of the king, or you can say of the administration, actually to provide proper irrigation facilities, proper water facilities, regulated water supply, so that there shall not be any issue with reference to water being not received. Okay, irrigation facilities were developed to the fullest. Now, art became a very prominent feature, and many such instances we can always see. One of the most important reference here can be of the Ashoka Stambha. Or the Allahabad inscription pillar, right? So, craft was a very important thing that was done, and majority of the craftsmen were patronized by the king. Now, let's come to trade. Now, if we speak with reference to trade, the Mauryan economy developed because of one very important reason. Why? Because the administration, it emphasized on the development of a well-structured system of roads. Okay, roads were developed so that the trade can be facilitated more easily, more fastly. Also, there was an inclusion of a uniform currency, punched coins. Okay, punched coins were used. Okay, for the facilitation of trade. Now, how was the social religious pattern during the Mauryan Empire? Okay, now, if we speak with reference to the Mauryan kings, they actually favored monastic religions against the Vedic religion ideas. The propagation of Buddhism during the time of Ashoka is one such great example. Also, many people, they converted into Buddhism in order to go for a better economic growth and materialistic life pleasures, right? So, in order to get all these things, people got converted into the Buddhism. What were the reasons why there was a decline in Mauryan Empire? See, the most important reason that after Ashoka, there was no suitable ruler, there was no suitable king. So ultimately what we can say is the weak rulers, they actually were the biggest problem. After that, there were constant regular invasions from the Indo-Greeks, and these rulers actually failed to control all those attacks. Ultimately, it was the establishment of Sunga Empire that completely finished the Mauryan Empire. So what we can say here is the decline that happened, it happened because of not well established rulers, and also from the outside invasions, outside attacks that were taking place regularly. See, if we speak with reference to Sunga Empire, they were supporters of the Vedic ideas. They supported the idea of Brahmanism as against the idea that was actually accepted by the Mauryan Empire of the monastic gods, right? So these were some of the important reasons. So students, this was with reference to today's session. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much.